What is up, everyone? Hope everybody is all good. I want to do a quick video on talking about volume, intensity, frequency. Now, this has come from just talking on Twitter about hard work and sets per week and how many we need as an example. Sometimes people get the wrong end of the stick with this stuff and they don't fully understand it. And again, I've been there myself years ago, so I understand it. But people delve into the weeds and they get lost, and they don't understand that there is no one way to do it, and volume, intensity, frequency will change throughout the training career. Now, they are just merely dials that we can turn, and when you understand that, things become more apparent in terms of your own programming for clients, and just being able to step forward. When you understand these big rocks, everything else makes sense. So I want to walk you through it, just an example, using this as an education tool. So, breaking it down when it comes to volume, intensity, frequency. So, a lot of it comes down to how hard can you train as well. You know, how stimulative can we make every set? Can you push your sets all the way to failure? Are you someone who's going to be leaving reps in the tank? That's something that's going to dictate, again, how much volume you can handle, how much frequency can we handle. That's the first thing you need to look at. It's all about, again, your ability to provide enough stimulus and then recover outside the gym. If we can provide this big stimulus but we can't recover, training is worthless. Training is only as good as what we can recover from. So that's why you have to train to your needs. Now, that's what I say about recovery abilities outside the gym. Are you a 21-year-old who lives at home, doesn't have a lot of responsibilities, or are you a 35-year-old man, as an example, who's got 3 kids, works a stressful job? Your volume, intensity, frequency thresholds of what you can handle and step forward recovery-wise is going to be slightly different. So there is not one size fits all when it comes to this. So you need to understand that the most important thing, you must train to your needs at that time, what you need to step forward, and your ability to recover. Very, very important. So volume, intensity, frequency, it has fluidity to it, and it will change as you go throughout the training career, of course. So let me walk you through a couple of the most popular training splits, and just show you how we change volume, frequency, intensity, and how each one of these may be slightly different. Now, just to reiterate, there is no best training split. There's just one that suits your needs. Someone may make great gains on a full body workout or a full body training split, whereas somebody else is on a push-pull legs up or lower, and then they're seeing great gains. None of these is better than the other. They just have different tweaks to make them more efficient for a certain people. Again, you train to your needs and what you can recover from. So it will all make sense now as I walk you through each split. So I'll move my face over here, it makes more sense. So let's take a full body split. Now let's say we're going to train 3 times per week. So your frequency is quite high. That's a high frequency to hit a muscle group. Now let's say we have 1 to 2 sets per muscle group per warehouse, and we're going to hit each muscle 3 times a week. Now let's just say this is quads as an example. We have 1 to 2 sets of quads on a Monday, 1 to 2 sets of quads on a Wednesday, and 1 to 2 sets of quads on a Friday. Now that could be anywhere between 3 to 6 sets for a muscle group in a week. Now you might be looking at that. Someone will be looking and thinking, that's very, very low volume. How are we able to do that? Because again, we manipulate volume, frequency, intensity in order to be able to do that. We're not hitting this with 6 sets, 8 sets every day we come in and train. It's just enough stimulus. It's 1 to 2 sets. So your overall volume of each of these sessions and through the week is low, but we make up for it with a high frequency. Intensity is high, of course, but you see the trade-off that we're making. It's a low volume approach, but it's a higher frequency. That's how you get around that. Now, a split like this, for an example, who is this for? This is not going to be for everyone. This depends where you're at in your training career. These type of splits work very well for beginners and people who've only got a couple of years of training under the belt, because 1, they're not that strong just yet. 2, they can recover in between sessions pretty fast, again because the loads that they're lifting, it's not as heavy, not as systemically fatiguing. They can recover from this. And 3, they get better practice of actually using the muscles through the motor patterns that we're trying to train. If someone, as an example, is doing squats or presses 3 times per week as a beginner, that's more practice for them. Someone who is very, very strong won't need that, and nor would they be able to recover from that. So again, it goes to show the fluidity of a training plan, and you must train to suit your needs. A beginner will get great gains from something like this because they have 3 times a week exposure for a muscle group. But we can only do that by being able to manipulate frequency, intensity, volume. Can you see where I'm getting at with that? There's no, you must do it this way. When you know how to tweak these dials, this allows this to occur. But this is not for everyone. As I say, someone may look at this and think that's not a lot of volume, but it works. It can definitely work for a beginner, of course. Even some people who think they're advanced can make a lot of gains off this when they clean up the set execution and they're taking things all the way to failure. As an example, recovery is on point. This is a rock solid training split. It's not for everyone, but of course it works. Now, let me show you another example of upper lower. I'm going to show full body and upper lower. Now have a look at this. Now if we have a look, frequency now is, we're going upper lower. So frequency per muscle group is twice per week. So we've went from 3 down to 2. So your frequency exposure is moderate. I think you're in a sweet spot now with 2 times per week. It's a good place to be in. Intensity is still going to be high. As an example, let's say we're taking all of our sets to failure. Volume is going to be moderate. Not going to be high. It's not going to be low. We're not going to be doing 10 sets per muscle group per workout. It makes no sense. So you're going to be in this 2 to 6 range. Let's say quads as an example for lower. This could be 4 sets of quads here, and then 4 sets of quads here. So over the week, it could be 8 sets of quads. That's going to be enough for you, enough stimulus, but also enough recovery. Now, you may have to go to this. Let's say someone who they've graduated from a full body split. They're 4 or 5 years into the training, as an example. Now we need a little bit more recovery in between sessions. If we were once doing a full body split, just two days recovery was not enough in between muscle groups. Now we need to extend this to 3 to 4, because now we're evolving to our training needs. We need a little bit more volume per session. The loads that we're lifting are getting a little bit heavier, so we need a little bit more recovery. So can you see again how it alters the training fluidity? You can't just go, oh, you need an upper lower, you need a full body split, you need a push pull leg split. You will train according to your needs as your training career develops. So again, you'll have a look at the difference of 2. Frequency high, and you go to an upper lower, it's moderate. Intensity is high, again depends on the way that you train. Volume moderate. Your volume will change as I mentioned before. If you want to train to failure, it's going to be harder to handle as much volume. If intensity is high, volume will have to be a little bit lower. If you want to leave reps in the tank, potentially your volume can go up. So if we swap intensity and volume here on this exact same split, if you wanted to run a moderate intensity and higher volume, you're probably more going to be like 6 to 8 sets because you're leaving reps in the tank. So you have to make up for that in some capacity. So again, it just goes to show the fluidity between all this. So don't think there is one size fits all. I've just showed you an example of what a beginner could run a full body, how we would operate that. And then maybe someone who gets a little bit more experience under the belt with a upper lower, and that's how we can manipulate volume, intensity, frequency. So what I always tell people, you will see me talk about this all the time, you have to let your trainer feed back to you. Your body will let you know. It's the smartest thing that you have. Greatest tool for feedback is logging your training, and you will notice patterns. If you train on a Monday and then you come and try and hit a muscle group 2 days later and you're not recovered and your performance is always stepping backwards, bingo, there you go. That's your body giving you a sign that says, look, we can't handle this anymore. We're not able to step forward in our loading, our reps, our moving quality over time. It's not happening. We're continuously hitting the wall. Things outside the gym are on point with sleep, nutrition, all of this stuff, that's all on point. If you're struggling to step forward, always address the program. Your body will always feed back to you. That's why we track everything that we do in the gym and we let it feed back to us. As I say, if you progress your lifts and they're all on point, the volume that you're probably doing, the intensity, everything you're training at is probably on point. Just keep it going. Don't change a thing. If you're coming into the gym and you're feeling absolutely beat down, you can't progress the lifts, and it's happening consistently, you probably need to look at programming. So as I say, people can grow. I've seen people grow on 4 sets per week, and then I've seen people who may need more than that. Ultimately, you have to get in the gym and you're going to have to experiment. When I say about 4 sets per week, again, someone may look at that and go, how is someone growing on 4 sets per week? Please enlighten me, how does that work? Again, this is not everyone, but as an example, let's say 4 sets, let's say someone is pretty advanced, they know what they're doing, for example, they've got very, very strong quads. Let's say they hit 2 sets of hack squat on a Monday, and then they've done 2 sets of pendulum squat on a Thursday, as an example. Those 4 sets, they take them all the way there, all the way to failure. That's what their body allows them to do and still step forward. They can get a great stimulus 4 sets per week. That's just an example. I've seen that happen. Now, that won't be everyone, of course not. I'm not saying that. But what I'm saying is that, again, volume needs, frequency needs, intensity, it will all change. It will all be individual. And you need to get in the gym and you need to experiment and let your trainer feed back to you, and stop looking as if there is one best training split, there is one best way to train. There is not. It's no such thing. You need to get in the gym and experiment. Let your training logs feed back to you. And again, this is the tools to set you up for success for long term. I want you to learn how to train and not just be blindly following things. These are the things that you need to do. So let your training feed back to you. All this stuff, just a final note, all of this stuff is interchangeable, and stop looking at a must way to do things. I see too many people just asking questions on Twitter. Everyone is always, what do you think of this? How should I do this? Go and experiment, man. Honestly, you just have to get in there and try things, and your training will feed back to you. But I wanted to make this video to clear up a couple of things: volume, intensity, frequency, how we can change things, how we can turn those dials to suit our training needs at that time. That is it. That is what this stuff is. And at the end of the day, all I care about is progression. I don't care how someone trains. I don't care whether you want to leave 3 reps in the tank, if you want to train to failure. I don't care if you want to train high volume, low volume, you want to train once a week. I really don't care. All I care is about getting results. And again, when you understand this, how we can alter volume, intensity, frequency, training splits are just a means to an end. When you understand this, you'll actually start making progress instead of worrying about fucking nonsense. Okay? So again, let me know what you think. Drop any comments down below and I'll get back to them. Okay? Speak to you all soon. Have a good one.